everybody. So as you saw in my previous video of that CZ52, I'm sorry, VZ52 unboxing from Hunter's Lodge, you notice there's a few parts missing. So I have been scouring the internet trying to find various parts that I think I'm going to need, in particular to finish out those stocks that I'd previously gotten from Apex Gun Parts. They're obviously going to require a lot of work. There was a lot of metal pieces missing. In my case, they were missing that metal butt plate spring. I had on my bolt, once I tore it down, took a good look at it, it was actually missing the firing pin retaining pin, as well as the firing pin spring. I have ordered a firing pin spring. I did source that. Also sourced a firing pin. You'll probably see that in the second part of this video, because I'll have to pause the video and go get it. I didn't unbox it just because I didn't think it was really worthy of an unboxing. But what you're going to see here today is I got one of those piston scraper tools, or piston scrapers for the VZ52. That was $8. Butt plate spring, those are $8 a piece. Firing pin retaining pin, $2.50 a piece. VZ52 forward stock cap, which is that metal cap that goes on the end of the butt stock. And then also I got an extra recoil spring and guide rod, just because the one that I have is rusty. It would probably be okay, but it never hurts to have an extra set of parts. Then you're going to see a couple other oddball odds and end parts in here. I did get some of those Enfield stripper clips. I want to say they were running those for like $2.50 a piece. I thought, well, I've got all these Enfields, it'd be nice to have some extra stripper clips. And then you'll see some Cetme C chevron style muzzle brakes, and those are the muzzle brakes that particularly came fitted onto the Century Arms like C308s that they manufactured. So I want to say those were somewhere to the tune of like, those were super cheap. Well, I forget what the price was. I want to say it was like $5 a piece or something. Of course, I'll correct myself up here in the top left if I just misstated something, because I'm trying to reference an invoice, and yeah, sometimes I just simply can't read. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to dive off in it, just so you can see what to expect on some of these parts that are coming in from Apex. They did ship second day air via UPS. I wasn't expecting that one, so it came rather quickly. So let's see what we got. That packing slip out of the way first. I can probably correct myself a little bit better after I take a look at that off camera here. Yeah, here's the funny thing. Those chevron style muzzle brakes are only $4.95 a piece. I had to do a double take on that, because I was like, did I really pay that? Yeah, apparently I did. Apparently they were quite cheap. Let's get these parts out of here. That's all that's in the box. Get some of this out of the way. Oh, one thing I failed to mention is those chevron style muzzle brakes are in the white, so you can end up bluing them, you can end up parkerizing them, whatever you want to do. Just all kinds of neat things you can do with them in terms of finishes on the metal. You can even Cerakote it if you want to. That's kind of interesting. Oh, that's pretty cool. Apex threw in a Christmas ornament. It's pretty slick. I think that'll have to go on the Christmas tree. So anyway, so these are those unique 5/8 by 24 inch thread chevron style muzzle brakes. I've heard that these are very effective at minimizing that felt recoil out of that C308 or your Cetme C. Anything that's got that 5/8 by 24 right hand thread. And like I said, these things are super cheap, $5 a piece, and it's a US compliant part. So for those of you that are building Cetme C kits, this is a nice way to add one 922R compliant part. So I got a few of those because I have some Cetme kits at some point that, you know, I hope to redo. But you know, we'll see. And I'm not gonna dig into everything here. We'll just take a look at one of these Enfield stripper clips. These are just surplus stripper clips. You know, nothing fancy, nothing special. You know, they're kind of dirty, maybe a tiny amount of surface rust, and just from long-term storage. But perfectly usable. So I got 5 of those, just because I do have all those Enfields. The VZ52 guide rod and recoil spring. That's a little gunky, a little nasty, but not terrible. Looks better than my other spring for sure. So I think that'll work just fine for that VZ52 project. And then in particular, one of the hardest things to find is that nose cap for that stock, which is absolutely essential if you're going to rebuild one of these. And this one doesn't look necessarily in bad shape. Kind of looks like somebody pried on it a little bit here, but it looks like it's been painted. I don't know where or when it was painted, but you know, perfectly usable, perfectly serviceable part. So that's awesome. I'll be able to use that on that VZ52 build, rebuild rather, refurbishment. And then of course those stocks, as you saw in my previous unboxing video, I'll put it down in the description, were devoid of almost all metal hardware. So being paranoid as I am, I bought 2 of these spring assemblies. This one, I don't know how well you can see it. I'll try to put a picture in here. It appears to have a little bit of minor pitting on it. But other than that, it looks really good. I think they can be used for sure. And I just bought 2 just in case, you know, I break one, or I can put one in my second stock and maybe sell my second stock at some point, whichever one I decide not to use. And of course, here is that pin, that firing pin retaining pin for your bolt. So my bolt, as you saw, was devoid, which you may not have seen it. I didn't notice it on camera at the time. Was devoid of the firing pin, as well as the firing pin spring, as well as the firing pin retaining pin. So that's a cool little part to have. I'm going to need that if I actually want to shoot that thing any. And then of course, this is a part that typically comes in your VZ52 cleaning kits. I know Apex stated a lot of times these are often left out. And what this is, I don't even know how it works because I've not really dug into it yet. This is that scraper tool for that gas block. I think that's what it's called. Let me reference my invoice here. Well, piston scraper. So it's for, I guess, scraping that piston to keep it nice and clean, carbon buildup, things of that nature. But this thing looks in perfect condition. It's just got a lot of oil on it. It's got a nice parkerized finish on it. So really neat little tool to have to make sure your VZ52 is in tip-top shape. But that's really all I got right here. I'm going to pause the video right here. I'm going to go grab that firing pin that I purchased and tell you a little bit more about that. Should you guys end up getting a VZ52 like from Broyles Haiger and you're missing any parts, it's always helpful to know, well, it's all fine and dandy if you get the rifle, but if you don't have the parts you need to complete it, then it's just a paperweight. So I'm going to pause this and I'll be right back. Hey everybody, back. So here is what I was alluding to. So since my bolt was missing the firing pin spring, as well as that retaining pin, you just saw somewhere on the table here, that firing pin retaining pin. Well, Also needed firing pin spring. Um, I actually got this one off eBay. It wasn't real expensive. Um, and then I also got what's in here, which is really cool. And this is a, let you see it, stainless steel VZ52 firing pin. I want to say I paid like, I don't know, maybe 20-30 bucks for this. I will say this, I bought this one in stainless. If you go out and look at their website, they actually have one that's made out of titanium as well, which is pretty slick from a durability standpoint. You know, I figured stainless is probably good enough for me, but it's a really cool site. They carry a lot of firing pins that ordinarily you might have trouble finding, and I just stumbled across them as I was looking for this, and I didn't want to pay, you know, $80-90 for a firing pin. I thought that was a little insane, but you know, it is what it is. And this last part that I got is something that is almost of a unicorn in terms of a VZ52. Most of you guys will recognize this immediately. This is a VZ52/57 magazine. And this magazine, as you can tell, is in immaculate shape. Actually, it looks practically brand new. I would venture to say this is probably possibly even new old stock. So this is absolutely, I wouldn't say it's essential, but if you're going to do a conversion on your VZ52 and put that chamber insert in there, if you want it to feed reliably from that magazine, this is very helpful. Instead of the other mag, because this has the proper angle that you'll need for 7.62x39. Or if you take your VZ52 and let's say you decide to convert it to 6.5 Grendel, this is extremely helpful because it'll give you the proper angle that you're going to need for the differences in those case dimensions. So anyway, there's all the parts. I do have some more stuff on the way in terms of that VZ52. I didn't show it here, but I do have the bayonet assembly, which I had actually gotten off eBay as well, for like 30 bucks, actually in pretty decent shape. And there's a seller that has tons of them out there. You can just search for it and go find it. I can't put the link in here, of course, because YouTube doesn't like me doing that. But you can just go searching for it and you can find it. But anyway, there's all the parts. So this is what you can expect if you know, if you need to get some from, or get some for your VZ52 from Apex, or if you need some other things, you know, like, you know, these neat little muzzle brakes, or maybe some stripper clips, or whatever. So anyway, just wanted to do this quick unboxing so you guys could see this stuff, so you could know what to expect. I would highly recommend, if you got a VZ52, keeping an extra one of these on hand, or if you get you a surplus one, because chances are this is going to be rusted pretty bad. So there we have it. Be on the lookout for part 3 of my Adventures in a State Sale series pretty soon. As I've stated previously, I'm doing 8 parts to that, basically 4 pistols, 4 rifles, working my way up actually to the coolest ones that I have. So a little bit of anticipation there. So make sure, you know, if you guys like stuff like this, you hit the like button, and for all of you that subscribe, you know, thank you for subscribing, and for all of you that haven't, make sure you do, because you get notifications of cool stuff, you know, every time I do an unboxing like this, or if, you know, showing you how to work on, you know, any of this old Milsurp stuff. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and thank you in advance for all your comments, all your shares, all your friends. Certainly helps grow the channel. And until next time, you guys have a great day.